I'm not sure yet.
Okay. Probably a bit of a delayed action, is there? Yeah. All
Shall
good.
I ask Brett?
Not sure yet.
Bit of a delayed action, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep, maybe talk, so...
Talking about what?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
we're on, are we?
Oh,
No.
Brad's saying no. Brad says no.
No, it's working. All good.
It's all good. We think. Yeah, like we said, it's we worked all day in the shop,
Yeah.
raced home, had some tea, raced in here. You didn't have time to check the mics, unfortunately.
No, of course, the one time we don't check it's all not working.
Yeah, so hopefully they're working now.
Yes.
All good?
Yeah, oh good.
Bit of a mad rush tonight,
It
but
was.
got there in the end. Baked some of Mum's good lasagna.
That was nice, and some veggies.
Yeah,
and-
that's probably stuck 10 minutes.
I had some tea tonight because generally before the show I'm too nervous to get on, but no, it's getting easier, so it's all good. Okay, so yeah, tonight's topics.
So we'll do the usual of the stock update, rundown on the newsletter, the gold and the relic that you picked out for the week,
Yeah,
and then we've got an interesting video to show tonight. We had a couple
Oh.
of bloggers join us. I think I briefly spoke about this last week when we first received the video,
yeah.
but we had some bloggers join us on a Creswick tour. They're called World Owned,
Okay.
and they filmed the whole experience. So
Yeah.
Saying mics aren't working but can still hear you.
Okay. Oh, don't know what's going on there. Don't know. Yeah.
Might just have to talk loud.
Okay.
Mm.
Talk loud.
Mhm.
That's on.
Well done. Yeah.
Okay. Yours on?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe I'm just talking a bit softer. So, yeah, so they come out on a tour for a day, and yeah, she so wanted badly to find the gold, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, but just doing an overview of gold panning, sluicing, and high banking. It's just a brief, description of what to do, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Oh, Leanne sounds loud near the camera, so
Okay. Maybe it needs to be switched across or something. There's always problems with technology, always. You can have the best gear in the world, but we've still got problems. No, don't know. So can they still hear us sitting on the couch? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No,
don't know what's going on.
don't know what's going on. So can people still hear us?
I think everyone can hear us. It's just a bit quiet.
Just a little bit quiet.
You can keep talking if you want, and I'll see if I
Okay,
can resolve this.
Yeah, so look, with the gold panning and sluicing and high banking that I'll be talking about tonight, it's just the different types of panning, different types of matting that go into the high banking, and different types of river sluices, I suppose, and you know what to look for in that river system. Yeah. Is it working yet? No. Oh dear. Yeah, don't know what's going on. Yeah, yours working, Talisha?
I don't know.
Don't know. So can people hear us on the couch? Any comments there? Can people hear us?
Yes, but quiet.
Okay.
Can hear you from the camera laptop mic, but not the actual mics we're wearing.
Oh, that's weird. I know. Got a green light, which means go. Yeah, what can I talk about? Yeah, look, a bit of gold's come through the shop this week. Been buying a bit, and I suppose why not with the price of it that it is. It's worth selling. You'll see the price of the gold last week was about 160. I think this week it's 161. So it's basically up and down like a yo-yo. It seems to be fairly flat. But yeah, I bought a bit today off one bloke who'd been out detecting, and I said to him, you've either got a GPX 6000 or Gold Monster, and he said, yeah, you're spot on. He said, I've actually got both machines. So yeah, and I can tell by the size of the gold that they're finding as to what machine they're using. Like I said once before, if you've got a large coil on, you won't be getting the smaller bits, but you'll be getting the larger bits. But yeah, at the price of it, it's well worth chasing at the price it is. And how are we going over there, girls? You want me to keep talking? Okay, we're still trying to find out why our microphones are so soft, yet the mic over there is loud. But we'll get there. No mouse in the house. I went along last night to the Prospectors and Miners Association Geelong branch, and we had Jason Cornish there talking about some of the rules and regulations that are going on with parks and that, looking at closing parks and that. But yeah, I think Jason talked for, it was a good hour. It was a good meeting. Yeah, some relics were found, some gold was found. Now, for ones that don't know who the PMAV are, they're the Prospectors and Miners Association Victoria. Most towns, or when I say towns, most larger towns, there's one in, or there's a couple in Melbourne, but they're throughout Geelong. Ballarat's got one, Maryboro's got one, Bendigo's got one, and it's where we get and meet and talk about the issues we're having, I suppose, going out prospecting, and you know, just and you know, we all get together. We all throw in $5 for pizzas, and then on the following Sunday we go out to our a spot and yeah, just have a barbecue, social event, learn a bit about prospecting, and yeah, a few bits found. So yeah. How are we going? We're still having trouble? Yeah, still having trouble. Yeah. Don't know why. Yeah. Don't know why. No good asking. Leanne's going like this, keep talking. You want to come sit up here with me? No. Yeah, so look, it's good to join up with the Prospectors and Miners Association Victoria, because the more people that join, the more voices we have against, you know, when they want to close up part of the bush. So, yeah, just join up. Look, if it's not your thing to go along to the meetings, some people don't go along to the meetings, but they'll go to the outings, have a barbecue, like I said. I know the Geelong PMAV went out last month, and I think it was Eric that found about a $2 grand piece, and a few other bits were found. So yeah, but look, if you're going to the event, yeah, please let them know that you're going, because there's nothing worse that you say, oh, we're going to go to a spot, and you know, 10 people say, yeah, we're going, and then all of a sudden 50 cars turn up. It makes it hard on them guys, especially with the barbecue too, because you know, they cater for the amount of people that are going, but yeah, you know, more generally turn up than what should. Yeah. How's it going over there? Yeah. I see shoulders shrugging and rubbing heads. No good? No good. So can people still hear me or not?
Yeah, you're just quiet. It's just coming from the laptop, picking it up from the laptop rather than the mics.
So what are we going to do? Look, I could talk about this all night, but yeah, look, I started going to Western Australia in, I think it was 1995. That was when the SD 2000 come out. Now, I remember the first year I went over there, I think it was 5 ounces for about 7 weeks. And look, I was happy with that. And then I come home and I said to my wife, look, there's a lot of opportunity over there. I think we should go over there chasing it next year. So we had an old car. We bought an old caravan, went over there. And look, I was going around places. If I couldn't get an ounce a week, I'd move on to a different place. I think they're going to move the table a bit closer. Is that what you're going to do? Where is the microphone on that? So yeah, look, I went over there that year. If I couldn't get an ounce a week, I would move on. And I read about a place in the Golden Ghost book where they said 2 and 3 ounce nuggets were very common. So this was up at Laverton near Hawke's Nest. Some people know where that is. And got there, but when I got there was caravans and cars everywhere. I got out onto the field and it had all been pushed with bulldozers as far as I could see. But I persisted in the rubbish, and it wasn't unusual to dig a hole down, 2 foot for a rusty tin. But then the next sound you'd dig down and you'd pick up a, 5 grammer. But I persisted in the rubbish. I went down one side of the creek, up the other side, and for the 7 weeks we got 21 ounces. So that was a good year. Went over the next year. I remember we got 46 ounces for 15 weeks. Yeah. You're back.
Don't know what is going on over there, so...
Operator error. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully they can hear us. We're just working off the microphone off the computer, is that right?
Yes, move the computer closer, so
Yeah.
hopefully that helps a little bit, but...
Hopefully they can just turn their volume up a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, still soft, is it, guys? Yeah.
Everyone said not to worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
The show must go on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
So where are we up to?
I've sort of covered that, and I've waffled on for about 10 minutes. So,
Prizes tonight.
okay, you want to know what they are?
Yes.
Right. It's one of these gold domes.
Oh.
It's got a little miner in there with a pick. He's got his hand up like this, like he's found something. Yeah, they're cute, aren't they?
They are cute.
Yeah. And they come in a little box, and it's got on it, Australia, the lucky country, contains 100% real gold flakes.
Wow.
I don't think it'd be worth breaking out, but yeah. So there'll be 2 of them, and the winners will be picked later. Look, these are a really good prize for the prospector that's got everything, I think. Yeah, I love them.
Nice little display piece.
Yeah, no, they're good. So yeah, we'll be picking the winners later on.
Perfect. Alright, I reckon we cut to our first video of the night.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can work anything out during that time. So
Okay.
we've got the video of the bloggers that come over from New Zealand and
Okay.
they came on the tour with us in Creswick. So we'll cut over to that one now.
Good morning from Creswick, Australia. So we are here today with Golden Relics, and we are about to embark on an entire day of gold panning, metal detecting, searching for gold, and I could not be more excited. The day has started with a kangaroo being somewhat right behind Ryan. Today has already started. So cool, and I can't wait to show you guys the rest of the day. Wow, that's heavy. Oh my gosh.
As a nugget, that's got everything to it. It's got character, it's got shape, it's got the weight. It's just a real pretty piece.
It's so funny how gold in real life looks fake.
Yeah.
Like, no, it doesn't look real.
It doesn't look like your ring or your chain because
Yeah.
most rings are 9-carat gold, so they've had other metals and that put into the gold to make them harder.
Right, okay.
And that's why it's a different colour to natural gold. So that's one half of the rock.
Oh my goodness.
In the rock there's, I think, 83 ounces. There's 2,600 grams.
This rock right here is worth $330,000. It's almost too heavy for me to hold while I'm sitting here, but it is actually broken into 2 pieces. But this is a sizable house deposit in New Zealand. So if no one ever sees us again, you know where we've gone.
So you've got all clay, but clay is like a magnet and gold sticks in the clay, so you've got to break that out. And then just have a look at some of these bigger rocks and sort of throw them out.
Discard them, yeah.
So what you've got to do is, just shake it sideways. You've got to get it so on the angle so that the gold is in that lip there on that side. So if it's too far forward, you're going to tip the gold out. If it's too far back, nothing's going to happen. So you've got to have it on about that sort of angle. Yeah, so we're at the bush. This is the preferred machine that we use on the tours. It's a Minelab GPX 6000. Yeah, great machine. Very, very light and very, very good machine. Okay. So this is the coil. There is different size coils. So basically the smaller the coil, the more sensitive they are, but they don't quite go as deep for the bigger gold.
Okay.
So there's that happy medium. This is a standard 11-inch coil, which is fine. Now, that's where your arm goes through. To turn this machine on, you just push that button there, 3 seconds, pump it to the ground, and away you go.
Okay.
So we've put a gold ring down on the ground. That's what you're listening for. But the deeper it is, the noise, hear that, is very soft.
Right.
But the closer you get to the target, the louder it becomes. So you might think it's a little nugget in the ground, but you might dig down that far and it turns up being a big nugget. So if you get any noise, have a listen and dig.
Okay.
So what you've got to do is overlap the coil and just rub it on top of the ground. I don't know if you can hear that little change, but that's tiny. So this target will either be gold or be a little shotgun pellet. So we won't know what it is until we dig. So it's right where that tree root is. So the first thing I would do is to clear an area the way you're going to bring that dirt back, because you don't want to be bringing dirt into sticks and leaves because you'll miss it. So just scrape a little bit, flatten that out, then start back here. It's not in there, which is a good sign.
Oh my gosh, I can see it!
Oh wow. There you go.
That's crazy! Oh my god, what the heck?
Good little piece.
It is a good little piece.
We're officially at stop number 2 where we are using metal detectors. I'm so excited. I've never used a metal detector in my life, so we just got a crash course on how to use them. But I'm very, very excited. Golden Relics use the latest and greatest technology, so I would say our chances of finding something is high. Obviously, gold is a metal, so other metal things are going to show up on the detectors as well. So we'll find something, I'm sure.
Sam enjoying her coffee while she looks for gold.
Okay. The walk of shame up to the camera again. It's my third find of the day. Wire. Lovely. A little bit about Gold and Relic. So it is husband and wife duo, and they have been operating for 17 years. They originally started out just taking their friends on tours around Australia looking for gold, and that eventually turned into an incredibly successful tour company, and they travel all across Australia, and you don't just have to do the day tours, you can do overnight ones, 5-day ones, 7-day ones, where you actually camp in the Australia outback, which I think is super cool. Hanging out with them as well, especially over lunch, they're so incredibly welcoming and friendly and just full of passion and wanting to teach you about the gold, which I think is really, really cool that after 17 years they're still just as passionate about it as I believe they probably were when they started. So it makes the experience that much better. So we are feeling incredibly grateful to have been able to experience this with them. So a huge thank you to Golden Relics for having us, for teaching us, for looking after us, and for showing us the ropes. Haven't really found anything thus far. I've found 2 shotgun pellets and a Corona bottle cap. So we're not rich yet, but that's not to say we won't be. We just aren't yet. So we're going to go and have a cold drink. The weather's actually quite nice today. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's a little bit overcast here and there, so it's just been absolutely perfect, and I can't wait to get back into it very shortly.
Something I just learned the hard way is if you're thinking about doing anything like this with the metal detectors, pay close attention to the shoes that you're wearing. I actually thought my shoes were absolutely fine, but it turns out there are little bits of metal in them, in the ringlets where the shoelaces go through, which kept picking up on the metal detector. Another thing is when you're picking up the dirt or the sand or whatever it is, make sure you're wearing no jewellery such as rings or bracelets, unlike me. Now I'm using my other hand to pick up the dirt, and I've taken all my rings off. Pro tip.
Okay, we are almost done for the day. We've been out here for, I'm gonna say 3-ish hours.
Oh, one more hit.
You're lying.
Last one before we pack up.
It's gonna be another bottle cap, I swear. If this is gold.
Yep, it's out. It's right there. It's not there. Not there. It's there. Whatever it is.
Oh wow.
Stop!
Look at that.
What, you see it?
There.
It's so glittery!
Wow, that's shining, isn't it?
Wow.
Oh my.
That's a good little piece.
Is that definitely gold, not foil?
It's definitely gold. Probably 0.4 of a gram, probably $50.
Ryan!
That's alright.
What the heck?
Might be more here.
Oh, but we have to go.
I was literally digging in this stupid hole right there.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
I'll put it in my
Oh, you got a little pothole? That's a good sound.
I like that noise.
Okay, last thing before we finish up for the day, we thought we would give you a tour of Golden Relic's brand new bus. Okay, this bus seats 14 people, including the driver and one person in the front. I'm about 161 centimeters, and I have the luxury of being able to stand up inside of here. The seats are really good quality leather. You've got air conditioning up the top because it can get pretty hot in Australia, along with padding on the sides of the windows because it does get a bit bumpy when you are driving out in the goldfields. So whether it's just you and a friend or there's a big group of you, there's plenty of space inside here for a really comfy trip.
Okay, we have just got back off the train. We are back in Melbourne. What an epic day. Not only are we richer in friendships and experiences, we are richer in gold as well. Here I've got the vial that was used when we were panning with a few little speckles of gold in there. And of course the little nugget that we found with the metal detectors. Guys, if you find yourself in Australia and you want to do something like this, check out the link in the description and you can experience an epic day like we did. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks time. Like and subscribe, all that. Peace.
This just set off the detector. Thought I was going to be rich. Someone's phone is ringing.
Another bit.
I don't know anymore.
back again.
Back again. We
Sounds
think we've got it sorted
working.
out.
Yes.
It was just a little cord about that long, wasn't it? So we had a
Yes.
spare, and yeah, I think it's right.
Hopefully.
Now, you were just saying before, apparently last week when I coughed, it nearly blew people's ears off.
It did. So I've warned you not to cough into your
Not to
mic this
cough.
week.
I've got the water down there. Yeah. Okay.
So you spoke a little bit on gold price before, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I'll probably run quickly over it again, but
Yeah.
yeah. So what are we up to? Oh,
Seymour Field Day. How you guys went with that?
gee, we've been busy of late. Yeah, so it was National Detecting Day the weekend before, and then last weekend just gone by, we did the Seymour Field Days.
Yeah.
Look, we went up to it last year on a Sunday, and we just had a walk around, and it had a really good feel to it. And yeah, this year there was absolute huge crowd, and I suppose it's one of them field days expos with a difference, because look, a lot of them that you go to, there's 90% caravans there, and I didn't see a caravan. I did see one caravan. It was opposite of us. It was a little caravan, and it was for chooks. And the chooks go in there, and the door self-locked. So that was the only caravan I actually saw there. There was lots of great stuff. There was like massive big drones, probably half the size of a car. And I heard him telling a farmer that it's good for spraying rocky country or hilly country.
Yeah.
You know, so
How great would it be if you could get a big coil on the bottom of one of those? And
well, don't laugh. I reckon it will happen one day. You'll be sitting here with the drone, and oh, that's too small.
Yeah.
And yeah, time will tell. Probably won't be my lifetime. Might be yours. And the people there were just really friendly. Like, you know, yeah, just friendly people. In fact, the couple that was beside us, they were selling sheds. I think it was Fair Dinkum Sheds, if I remember rightly. Yeah, they were selling sheds, and they packed up, and they give us a hand to pack up. So
nice
yeah,
of them.
cost me what was it, 4 cans of Jack Daniels, but it was worth it. Yeah. Anyway,
Just a little stock update.
stock update.
So we got some Mine Lab top up in of accessories, and we got quite a few of the Equinox coils come in as well.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
And then later this week we'll get in some more gold pans, and then you're going to give a little update on Rowan from
From Nugget Finder. Yeah. You want that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had a phone call from Rowan from Nugget Finder. He makes the coils for Nugget Finder coils, and he said he's with the Evo coils that he makes. He got a lot of wire in, and apparently, it wasn't up to his standard. So he's waiting for the next batch of wire to come in. I know he's having trouble with the wires for the 6,000 coils and that, but I think everybody is at the moment. So that's why we can't get the 6,000 coils in.
Any timeline on it, or was it sort of just indefinite?
Oh, look, it sort of happens when it happens. I know Rowan doesn't like to say that, look, they're going to be out next week and then they're not.
Of
So,
course,
yeah.
I'll keep everyone in the loop when they come in, and
You can talk about this one.
The Coiltech Elite Max, so we mentioned it last week, but we'll mention it again. We've put it on the website for pre-order. So we've got the 10x5 at $480, the 14x9 at $540, and the 9-inch at $510.
Yeah.
So we're expecting those in end of the month. So if you pre-order on the website, pay for it, you'll be first in line for the new coil.
Yeah, we had an order today for one, I know.
Yeah.
John, who's in the PMAV Geelong, he branch, he actually bought one. So
There's been a few orders coming through.
And it's hard to know, which one's going to be the most popular one. So, if you want to put in the comments which one you think is going to be the most popular, I don't know.
If you could do a quick summary of the difference of each size and when you'd use
Yeah, well, I suppose the 14 by 9, which is the bigger one, it should punch down deeper, but it's not going to be as sensitive as the 10 by 5.
Yeah.
And then the little 9-inch should be even more sensitive. But he's got 2 oval coils there, and I see 1 round one. You know, I prefer round coils myself. Round coils generally punch down a bit deeper than an oval. There is a reason for that. The signal an oval coil sends in, it actually tapers off. It doesn't go to a point and it tapers off.
Yeah.
Where a round coil, the signal it sends into the ground actually goes to a point. So it will go that little bit deeper. But then your oval coils are good in, you know, areas where you've got lots of tight spots. You can put that point in there. With some round ones, you can't quite get it in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then the gold price this week.
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit when I was waffling on a bit earlier. But yeah, at the moment, what time did you get this?
It was around 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's roughly, 160.
Yeah.
Last week it was 161. So look, each time Trump opens his mouth up or threatens people or that, it tends to go up. Yeah. Yesterday morning it got to 163.50 and I thought, beauty, here we go, it's going to go to the moon. And then I looked an hour later and it was coming down. But look, at that price, I don't think anyone should be complaining. Yeah.
And I see the stock market is still taking a hit as well from all of Trump's latest
tariffs and that. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but the ASX Australian Stock Exchange lost was billions of dollars.
Well, believe it or not, I just started investing in stocks maybe 3 weeks ago and I've already lost.
Talisha. Yeah, I thought I had you educated. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What else?
Any questions?
Any questions? Look, if you've got any questions, just ask in the comments. Yeah. What? Good idea. Leanne's cracking up behind there.
A little wardrobe malfunction and Mum's making fun of me.
Talisha's fly was half down.
Don't tell everyone.
Okay, I won't tell anybody. She's gone.
Oh dear.
Anyway.
That's how much of a rush we've been in tonight.
Okay. So please ask questions and we'll try and answer them best we can.
Yeah. Hope you know you're sitting on here next week, Mum.
Be pick on you, Dave. Daylight savings. Look, I'm finding it. I don't know if anybody else is, but I don't like it. Like it's dark at about 5:30, and I'm nearly ready for bed. It seems to be. I suppose go, and yeah. But I know a lot of people are struggling with it. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But nighttime is a good time to go out prospecting in some aspects, isn't it?
It is. Mum's still cracking up. Look, it's good at night time. You don't have as much EMI, electronic magnetic interference, around. Your detectors actually do run a lot quieter, and there's not as many cars or people on their phones, I suppose. Like I know even there's an area up Denali Way that I go detecting, and there's a power line there. Of a night time, they're not using as much power, and you can seem to get under the power line and detect better, you know. But I suppose with nighttime detecting, it's okay if you're in an open paddock and you've got fences, but if you're in WA and you've got your head down, you know, bum up as they say, and you're detecting, like, you know, you might be detecting for an hour and then you think, gee, where's the car? So it's a good idea to have a torch and a GPS over there if you're doing night detecting. And if it's hot, that's another thing. You've got to be careful because the snakes are out, you know, at night time. people say, oh, they're never out at night. They are, because they're looking for frogs and, you know, mice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I think is it's probably a bit safer to be wearing like a wireless or just using the speakers out of your detector, because you've already lost your sight in the darkness.
Yeah,
so
true.
you don't really want to lose your hearing as well.
Yeah. Be nothing worse if you're in a paddock and there's a bull in there somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. What else? Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
Night
but
detecting.
I guess it's good for secrecy at night time as well.
Look, I've tried night detecting, but I don't like it because I like to be able to read the ground,
Yeah.
and not just the ground, but I like to look at the plants and that are associated with gold. And at night time, you can't really read the ground properly
Yeah.
because it does look different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So a little bit of the newsletter rundown from this week. So we got to announce the winner of our 2024 Find of the Year.
Yeah.
And drum roll.
And the drum roll is Stacey
Stacey
Pink. So well done, Stace. So yeah, she wins $100
Yeah.
to come into the store and spend.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just such an interesting story. It had a lot of layers and a lot of depth to it. And Stacey had put in a lot of work to find the, what would you say, not the family members of...
Yeah, of the badge, wasn't it? A badge.
Yeah. So yeah, it was identified as a badge in the end. And yeah, she's been working on social media to connect to the soldiers' relatives. And I had a little bit of a discussion with Stacey at the National Detecting Day, and she gave me a little bit of an update, but because it was such a busy day, of course I didn't write any of it down. But she did say she was going to give us an update later of how the story continues to unfold.
So that means we go back to the monthly competitions.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, if you put in your best, nuggets or relics or stories, and that's a $50.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that goes back to the monthly ones.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for entering into the competition.
Good.
It was amazing to see everyone's top finds of the years and such a variation between it all too.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Gold buying is probably... Yeah.
So we've now got appointments available on our website if you want to sell your gold to us. So just when you go on the website, you'll have the headings up the top and it's under Sell Gold. So here you can set up a meeting with us and we'll try our best to either have you or one of the other gold buyers in store at that time. And it just gives us that pre-warning to make sure we've got everything, all the ducks in a row. Yeah,
it's nothing worse than someone walks in there, I want to sell some gold, and they tip it out on the table and there's, $100,000 worth there, $10,000 worth. It just gives us a bit of a heads up, and at the price of it, like $5,000 an ounce is nothing, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
So it just gives us a bit of a heads up.
Makes the whole thing go a bit smoother.
It does.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
And then the tip of the week.
Okay, you can read it out and I'll probably elaborate on it.
So once a target is out of the ground, turn your monocoil on its side to pinpoint larger targets in the dug out pile. This method makes pinpointing the exact location easy and accurate.
Yep. It only works if you've got a monocoil.
Yes.
So you turn your monocoil on the side, because with a monocoil, the wire sort of goes around the outside of the coil.
Yeah.
So if you turn your coil on the side, you can actually use that edge to pinpoint. But like you said, only on the larger targets, like if it's a small target, it's not enough to actually pick it up. Yeah. But on, something, when I say larger target, it might, depends what detector, but, half a pea size sort of up.
Yeah.
It just helps pinpoint a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then our Golden Relics tours. So just a quick update on those. So we've got the boot camp in April, which is still sold out. We've got one training day left before we head over to Western Australia. So if you're interested in that, it's Friday the 2nd of May and only 4 spots left, I believe.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
jump on quick if you want that one. Otherwise, they'll resume September and each month after that.
Yeah.
And then same with the one-day training tours. We've just got a couple of those left before we head over to the west.
Yeah. People might be thinking, oh, gee, how are they going to do it on the couch, you know, when they're in Western Australia? Look, we're still going to do them, but it'll probably be just in the bush, won't it? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is going to be exciting because we'll be able to give them an update of what's been found. And, you know, we might do some, or we will be doing some videos of ground and what to look for over there and different plants, you know, the money tree and that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our lives over there. I think that'll be fun.
It will.
I think the only problem point we might have is when we're driving over and but we'll work something out for that.
Yeah. When I was coming back from WA there 2 weeks ago, I had the new Starlink. I had the Starlink, it was only about that big, the pad, had it sitting on the dash, and I had full internet all the way home. So it was good. It was good.
So the tours that we've got in Western Australia, we've got the all-inclusive. So the first tour at Kalgoorlie and the second tour at Leinster. So we've got a couple of spots left on the Cal ones and 5 spots left on Leinster.
Okay.
So that's the all-inclusive for $4,880. And then the tag-alongs, which are $1,495. We've got 2 spots left at Cal on the 30th of June. Murrin is sold out, Walloona is sold out, and 6 spots left at Meekatharra on the 4th of August.
Okay. Yep, okay.
So feels like it's creeping up really quickly now. I think
It's only about, well, what'd it be? Probably.
It's a month that until I'm heading over. So
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll bring up the QR code now if you want to join our newsletter, if you're not already a part of it. And this is also the link of where you can enter in for the $50 monthly competition.
Okay. I've got a cough, so I'll cover that. Excuse me. Okay. We've done that, have we? Yep. Gold of the week.
Yes.
Wow.
What did you pick out for us this week?
This nugget here, nice piece. It was found a couple of weeks ago. It's around the 48 grams.
Yeah.
Now, I think I worked this out at $160 a gram, which is gold price. I think it worked out about $7,800.
Wow.
This is crazy, just for that little bit. And it's got holes in it too, you know, for a little bit. There, 7,000.
Make that a pendant, I reckon.
Oh, you could, but you'd be crying if you lost it. It was found in Victoria. It was found with a 5,000 with a 12-inch Evo, that Nugget Finder Evolution coil.
Yeah.
And he told me it was found about 12 inches down.
Okay,
So, yeah. The prospector actually told me where he found it, but
top secret.
Top secret. Look, when people sell me gold, I don't ask where they found it, but some will tell me where they found it. But I'm the type of person, you're not going to see me out there the next day on someone's patch.
No,
So
absolutely.
good luck to them.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I say.
Yeah. And then what relic of the week did you pick out?
Right, crucibles. There's a smaller one and a medium one. And a bit bigger one. Now, crucibles, they use when they're melting gold, the old timers at mine sites and that. So they'll heat that up and they'll melt the gold and then they'll tip it out into bars or whatever. But look, a lot of people look for these around the old mine sites and that, and I have found them at outback WA, just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I also pick up the little pieces that you find around the mine sites, because the bigger one, I don't know if it was this one or one of the other ones, the slag, they throw in flux and that with the gold, so it melts easy and that. But the flux sort of stays on the crucibles,
Yeah.
but you get little bits of gold stuck in that flux.
Wow.
So around the old mine sites, when you pick up the little pieces, I've actually picked up little bits and I can see little specks of gold.
Would it be enough for the detector to pick
No,
up, or just
no.
tiny specks?
Yeah, tiny specks. But you get enough tiny specks.
Yeah.
What I do, I'll just pick all the little bits up, throw them in a bucket, and then when I'm start up my crusher, I'll just throw it all through there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then, whatever I get's a bonus.
Yeah.
I heard Johnny Hobo, when he was doing his talk melting the gold at National Detecting Day, he said he's kept all his flux and he's got like 2 grams, but he does a lot of melting, but it's just a little bit here, a little bit there, and it all adds up.
Yeah. I used to have this hotspot location of where gold melting was made, and I would always go around the outside of it and pick up the little I remember that. Little balls of gold that were left behind.
When I used to melt gold, I had a electric furnace, and I would melt the gold and then pour it into the little cast iron mould. But when you're tipping it in, little bits would come out, and I remember you there sitting with the tweezers. I don't know how old you were. Look, you probably picked up a gram, probably.
Yeah, who knows what I did with it, though. I probably lost it.
Yeah. I doubt it. You still have it. Gold panning. Look, gold panning. Look, I had a bloke come into the shop today and he sold me a bit of gold that he'd been panning. And believe it or not, there was like $2,000 worth of pan stuff that he'd been keeping. Now, I've sort of touched on this once before, but if I was unemployed or, wanted some extra cash, I would be out there prospecting. And people say to me, oh, look, I can't afford, $1,000 to buy a metal detector. All you need is a $20 gold pan, really. Most people have got a shovel and maybe a teaspoon, a metal teaspoon.
Yep.
That's all you need. And look, it's just a matter, I suppose, of, walking the creeks and, just finding where that gold has caught in the river system. I remember walking creeks, when I was a lot younger, but I'd walk for probably 5 or 10 Ks.
Yeah.
And then you get to the top of the creek and you got to walk back again, don't you? I remember when we were coming home tonight and I said I was walking a dry creek in summer and there was a tiger snake there and he was coming towards me and I was off.
Yuck.
But you've just got to walk the creeks, look for the natural rock bars that are going across.
Yeah.
But you might stop at that area and not get much gold. But then you go up the creek a K and the gold will be caught there better. It's like when the old miners were digging holes on the shallow leads. Some would dig the hole here and get not much gold, and then someone would dig a hole over there and it was bingo. That's where all the gold had caught.
So it's good to do like a few testing locations along the creek.
Yeah. And look at the gold. If it's very flat, it may have travelled a long way, but if it's chunky and a little bit rough, it hasn't travelled far.
Yeah, close to the source.
Yeah.
And you told me a little secret on the way home tonight.
I did. Look, this is something my grandfather told me, when I first got into prospecting. I don't know how old I was, probably 14, 15, maybe younger. But he used to take me out and teach me how to pan for gold. And he used to take me out to a spot near Eganstown, which is just this side of Dalesford. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was a rock bar in the creek and it had this very narrow crack in it where the rock had sort of split. And normally you can't shovel it out. You know, you can put a crevicing tool in there, but you can only go down so far.
Yeah.
But he showed me this, I call it a secret, but he had an old wood saw, the one with the timber handle and the big wide blade, but very coarse blade. Like you can pick these up for $5-10 at swap meets and clearance sales and that. But it was a very coarse saw, and he put the blade down in the crack, and he was like this, like sawing the crack, and you could see the gold coming out of the crack, the gold and the dirt.
Yeah.
And then he would scoop that up and pan it off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Nice
yeah.
little
I always
hack to get down the bottom of the crevice.
I always remember that, but you know, that's probably going back, for a long
How many
time.
years?
Yeah, 45 years, would it? Yeah, probably 45 years.
Yeah.
But it only seems like yesterday. But yeah, it was, yeah, and yeah. So everyone will be buying these saws now. Yeah. Gold panning. Look, there's different types of gold pans you can buy. There's plastic ones. There's the old metal ones. There's your traditional pan with riffles and finer riffles. Then there's a Batea pan.
Yep.
There's the big speed pans, and you can buy a gold pan basically from $20 up to probably $300. Now, a lot of people wouldn't have seen pans worth $300, but they're the ones that they use at the gold panning championships.
Yeah.
And they're a flat thing, but how they make them, they put them in a lathe and actually turn the riffles out. So use,
So it's all one piece, isn't it?
yeah, it's all one piece.
Wow.
That's why they're $300. Yeah. I actually went in a competition at the Gold Panning Championships, and I don't like coming second. So I went and bought one of these speed pans. I think it cost me $250. I took it back and showed Mum, and she said I got rocks in my head. Yeah, because I wanted to go in the competition next the following year, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. So I
Didn't even use it,
did I? No. So I actually, I think, so I think I sold it in the shop. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
What else is there to talk about? Yeah. So yeah, there's claw pans. They're a funny looking pan. There's the turbo pan. There's the Bateas. There's your normal ones. Yeah. If you buy a steel pan, they're very, very shiny steel. What I used to do is throw a bit of petrol and oil in it, burn it, and then it would rust up a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Season it, don't they call it?
Yeah, season the pan. Yeah, and you can buy kits too, you know.
Yeah.
But all you really need is a $20 pan, a shovel, and you're out there.
Exactly. Then we got sluicing.
Sluicing. I suppose that's the next setup from panning, sluicing, river sluices.
Yeah.
So look, they range anything from, I suppose, $150 to $300.
Yeah.
There's different types. There's different types of matting that you can put in a river sluice. There's the old miner's moss. That's sort of a, I don't know what you'd call it, sort of a rubbery stuff. It's all bonded together. It's been around a long time. The only trouble with miner's moss is when you've got prickly gold, it sort of gets stuck in this matting. Yeah. And it's a bit hard to clean out. Where the rubber mats that you can buy nowadays are good for cleaning. But it doesn't matter what type of sluice you got, what type of matting you got, if you haven't got the right angles, right water, you're going to lose your gold, you know. The old timers, all they used was a timber box with timber riffles. They called it the old long tom boxes, yeah. So with sluicing, like I said, you've got to have your angles right. You should be able, and with your matting in a river sluice or high banker, you should be sort of able to see your matting. If the material's built up that much on top of the matting, your gold's just going to wash out. It's going to come in one end and wash out the other end. And that's why you've got to get your angle right, a little bit steeper, so that that material is washing and the matting is doing its job.
Yeah.
It's like a scrubbing brush. If the material's not scrubbing on that matting and getting caught up, you're going to lose a lot of gold. Good idea in a river sluice or high banker is to have a gold pan sitting on the end of it and just check it when you're cleaning up, maybe every hour or 2 hours, and make sure that you're not missing too much gold.
Yeah.
You know, you're never going to get it all, but you don't want to be missing too much.
Absolutely.
Clay is your enemy. Yeah, clay is like a magnet to gold. So when you're digging it out of the crevice, it might be in clay. You've got to break that clay up.
Yeah.
And a good high banker will hold that clay back and it will wash it properly, but you've got to make sure that it's just not balling up and going down the matting, picking up the gold and then spitting out the other end.
Yeah.
It needs to be really washed properly, yeah, before it goes in there. Yeah. You know, there's different types of high bankers and sluices. Like, the bigger they are, the more you can throw in there and the more dirt you can wash, but you need someone to carry it with you, you know.
Portabilities.
Yeah, portability.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a pocket sluice, so yeah. That's more of a little testing one, you know, to find out.
One that you could just keep in your backpack at all times.
Yeah.
And then there's other options you can use for sluicing, isn't there?
Yeah. Gee, there's I've seen doormats.
Yeah.
I've seen milk crates. You know how the milk crates got that pattern, that diamond pattern on the bottom? I've seen people cut them out and put them in their sluices and high bankers. I've even seen the aluminium door mesh you get, you know, the safety mesh, put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever works.
Whatever
I
works,
suppose.
works. Yeah, whatever works, works. And high banking, is definitely the next level up from a river sluice. But you know, you've got to have a petrol pump, or you've got to have a electric battery. If you've got an electric pump, you know, there's a lot there, and it really needs two of yous to carry that high banker, the battery, the pump, the hoses, your pans, your shovels. It's unless you can back up to a creek, but I'd rather be away from where everybody goes and up there, you know. Some people like petrol, some people like electric pumps, but it's personal preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, it's all just about the angle of
the angle of the high banker.
Yeah, and the water flow.
If you clay needs to be getting washed properly.
Yeah.
If your angle's too steep, the clay's just going to go straight out.
Yeah.
If it's back a little bit, it's going to hold that clay there a little bit longer and wash it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting that perfect balance.
Yeah. Okay. Question Q&As.
Okay, I'll read them and you can answer them.
Okay.
Is PMAV only for Victorian residents, or can us Mexicans join as well?
Mexicans, that's what they call us Victorians when we go to WA. Mexicans jumping the border. No, look, I'm actually member of other organisations, because each state has like Prospectors and Miners Association Victoria, and then there's NAPLA, which is New South Wales, and then there's APLA in Western Australia. Yeah, and it pays to join up with the other states. So you can join up with the other states.
So you can not only join up with the other states, but other countries as well.
I don't know if there's other countries.
But I mean, like a Mexican could join, if they lived in Mexico, they could.
No, they're talking about Mexicans over the borders. Yeah. Next question. Any 6,000 batteries? No, and no. Not yet. Do you know when we're going to get some? No. Yeah. shouldn't be too far off. But yeah, shortage of a few things at the moment. But
yeah, we'll get there.
we'll get there.
Any 12x7 skid plates in stock anytime soon?
Okay.
Shouldn't be too far off.
Is that the usual answer, is it? Yeah, look, a lot of our suppliers are having trouble getting, you know, leads and chips and batteries, and yeah, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, skid plates is Leanne's fault. Yeah, okay.
Someone's asked if we've got any stock of the GPX 4500s, and
No.
I don't know how many phone calls have we got today asking this as well.
Yeah,
Everyone's hunting them down, but unfortunately that was just limited stock. As
we got we've got quite a few, and I think one day we sold 5 of them, and then they were gone. Look, like I said on the show, I kept saying they're a good price, can't go wrong. Nothing lasts forever, does it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, have you got skid plates in stock for the Gold Monster?
Oh, gee, did I see any today? I reckon there was, but look, it would pay to ring up the shop. Like, I've got a good memory. I reckon there was some there, but I could be wrong. But if they ring up the shop, they can just take a few steps, have a look and say, yes, we have got them in stock. Yeah.
And then Aaron King has said, thanks for the chat the other day. I've changed my settings and found more gold in my patch.
Okay. Good. Yeah, look, I actually had a phone call today from a bloke who bought a 6,000 office, and he said, he had a few issues with it, and I told him how to run the machine, and he's grateful.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so, and look, I don't mind people that have bought Detector's office. It's a two-way street. You've helped us, we'll help you. You know, and it's about giving to and helping people, you know.
Okay, someone else has asked the pros and cons of a 40E versus pending.
I suppose with a 40E, people that don't know what a 40E, that's it's a form you fill out to go prospecting on exploration lease land only in Western Australia. So you've got to do your research and know that there's gold there before you do your 40E. You can take 4 people, I think it is, up to 3 months, and there is a cost involved. I think it's just over the 100. Over pending. Pending is good, but it's the same thing again. You've got to know that there's gold there.
Yeah.
It might be pending because one company doesn't want it, and another company has taken it up, and there's no gold there.
Yeah.
Look, just go on. I'll just quickly talk on pending land. I will not go on pending land if it's owned by a small person. But if it's a company or it's a big parcel of land, you can go on it. But if it's a little block of land, someone's trying to make a living or that on it, I don't agree that you should go on it. But anyway.
Okay, someone's asked what the teaspoon is for when you're panning.
Okay, a teaspoon. I used to use a teaspoon all the time. When you're cleaning, when you've got a rock bar going across and the cracks say that wide, you're using that teaspoon to get in there to clean the crack out, to pan off. That's what I use it for.
Yeah, a little crevicing tool.
Yeah, basically it's a crevicing tool.
Yeah.
A cheap crevicing tool.
Yeah. Okay, if you're high banker with recirc water, how would you recommend we filter the water so it doesn't turn too brown?
Well, obviously it's not a running water. It's a bit of a tough one. I presume they're talking about stagnant water. It's not running water.
Yeah.
So it's stagnant. It's a little bit hard because that dirty water keeps running in there. But if I was doing that, I would probably put the pump into a bucket with an old stocking, you know, the stocking wrapped around the pump,
Yeah.
because you don't want that pump to be sucking up little sticks and little stones and dirty water, because your pump's not going to last.
Yeah.
But by putting a stocking over it, and each time you stop, say every hour, just clean the rubbish off the stocking, but have it in a bucket, say in the creek.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's hard when the water's not running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. We have a second-hand 6,000 coming into Lucky Strike soon. If anybody is interested, please let us know.
Okay. You got one coming, have you? Yeah, okay. Look, yeah, 6,000s, I'd have to say since they've been out, we've only had 2 probably come in second hand. One was a deceased estate, and the other one, the chap had come over from Western Australia, wanted to try around Victoria. Yeah, and then he was moving back and he said, I no longer want it. So, yeah, you generally don't see 6,000s around second hand. So this one won't last long, depending on price.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guess it's now time for our winners of the night.
Okay.
So I have them on my phone. Tonight's winners are Kim Bowyer and Danny Pisanelli Callie.
Okay, guys, well done. Yeah, so you'll get one of these. Look, if you can't come into the shop to get it, we'll post it out to you. It's only a small box, so yeah, I picked them out tonight because they're easy to post. So yeah, easy to post. So yeah. Okay, that's about it.
That's all for tonight.
I'm glad we got the sound going. So we'll be throwing that other cord out.
Oh, each time we learn something new and it gets better and better. So it'll be easier next week.
Someone asked, how's the mouse going too? Haven't seen it, have we? For
No.
two things. I haven't smelt it either. Yeah, I put Rat Sack around everywhere, so I think he's gone, which is good. Yeah. Okay, I think that's about it then.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next Tuesday night at 7:30.
See yous.
See ya.